How can a luxury fashion brand, without recognizable logo, social media accounts, marketing campaigns, and official contracts with celebrities and influencers, become one of the most recognizable, popular, and successful in recent years? It's a brand which became a silent symbol of recognition between strangers. It's a kind of brand which is, if you know, you know. Today we are going to talk about the Row, an American fashion brand recognized for premium quality, minimal silhouettes, and intellectual luxury. Perhaps the reason why the Row became so successful is that true luxury doesn't need virality, popularity online, and it doesn't seek to break the internet. It is calm and quiet. This is a type of fashion which is confident because of it ties to quiet luxury and old money. Or maybe there is more than meets the eye. I'm Alexandra, a fashion researcher, and this is Fashion Industry Inside Out. This is a channel where we discuss how fashion industry works behind the scenes. According to the Row's website, it was established in 2005 by Ashley Olsen and Mary-Kate Olsen. Focusing on exceptional fabrics, impeccable details, and precise tailoring, the house combines a timeless perspective with subtle attitudes which form an irreverent classic signature. The Rose collections also explore the strength of simplistic shapes that speak to discretion and are based on uncompromising quality. To better understand the success of the fashion brand, let's go back 20 years in time. That was the time of the blinkest logomania phase in the fashion industry. Think about logos which you could spot across the street, low-rise jeans, body-hugging silhouettes, designers as celebrities, John Galliano, Alexander McQueen, Marc Jacobs, everyone knew them. And celebrities were like walking billboards. For example, Paris Hilton was a style icon. At that time, Olsen sisters, they were recognized for their roles in American feature films such as Two of a Kind and Passport to Paris, which I remember watching as a teenager myself. And they were also popular online, they were tabloid fixtures. Paparazzi would photograph them every day when they would go for their coffee runs in LA. Magazines started describing their style as vintage chic, because they would often wear vintage handbags from brands like Chanel. And at that time, the biggest problem they experienced was overexposure. And they decided to do something very, very different. They created a fashion brand. They moved to New York, and while studying at university, they established the Row with money they made in the film industry, around $200 million. They will remove themselves completely from the brand. No celebrity storytelling, no names associated with the brand. Interestingly, for the first 4 years of the brand's operations, no one publicly knew what they were behind the brand. Even the name, The Row, references Savile Row, an area in London recognized for supreme quality British tailoring. The brand began with a very obsessive goal to create a perfect t-shirt. In a rare interview for ID magazine, Ashley will say, "I think in the beginning it was really a project for us. So yes, it started with a t-shirt and then 6 other pieces fell out of that. It was really about perfecting the fit and perfecting the fabric." And indeed, they tested the t-shirt in all possible sizes, fits and shape. They found a lot of women aged between 20 to 60 to try the t-shirt on them, and ultimately we found the t-shirt they really loved. At that time, they started establishing relationships with manufacturers in Italy, and this is something that will become a signature of a brand, the premium quality of garments produced in a location which is recognized for attention to detail, supreme material sourcing, and craftsmanship. But again, the conversation about made in Italy is a big dilemma in fashion because, according to rules, you can manufacture in China or in Portugal, but if you attach your brand label in Italy, it's enough to say that it is made in Italy. So that's a big dirty secret, and it's a conversation for another episode. And many will start describing the brand as an American answer to Loro Piana or Hermes. And I think, given the lack of heritage of this American brand, it's a very suitable and fitting comparison. So, we didn't announce their creative involvement until 2010, when they will hold their first fashion show during the New York Fashion Week. However, next year, samples for their collection presentation will not arrive. So they will improvise. So they will set up a private presentation, invitation-only style in Paris. And this on-the-spot strategy will become one of the key signature for future presentations and collections of the brand. It will be recognized for having very private and very closed style of presentations. At some point, we will ban all phones during their presentations, which will attract a lot of conversation in the fashion industry because many people go to fashion shows to take pictures and videos to prove what they were there. The model and one of the celebrities who belongs to Mary-Kate and Ashley circle, Gigi Hadid, she will say, "When I think about being in their shows, it's something that's very calm, quiet, and not overexposed. We don't have 1,000 photographers backstage. There is not even that many photographers on a runway. That comes from them. They want to put out their art without feeling too exposed or too vulnerable, or used for the wrong reasons. We don't want people showing up like, I'm here for the Mary-Kate and Ashley show. We want people to come and respect their clothing." In 2014, they will open their first store in Los Angeles, a city which will make them rich and famous to begin with. And in 2016, ID, while reviewing their 2017 presentation, will say that the brand is producing the most beautiful pieces possible from the most beautiful fabrics imaginable. In 2017, they will open their New York store, a city where their headquarters are still based today. And that year will become one of the most defining for the brand's future. Phoebe Philo, the godmother of minimal fashion, will leave Celine that year, and she will create a niche or a market gap, which Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen will fill in really well. It's the gap for wealthy creative class of New Yorkers who were looking to build their wardrobe staples from contemporary fashion instead of referring to archives of brands like Yohji Yamamoto or Issey Miyake. And slowly, step by step, the Row will become what Donna Karan was in the 90s as a brand which created the idea of essential wardrobe for women, or something that Helmut Lang would repeat in 2000s. The Row will start to dictate the good taste for a contemporary fashion wardrobe. After establishing a reputation for precise and loose silhouettes, for impeccable quality and tailoring, they will expand their business by introducing menswear collection in 2018. According to the press release, they selected the best factories and craftsmen worldwide. In 2019, they will open their first London store. Interestingly, they will not pick one of the main retail streets like Bond Street or Sloane Street. It will be a little bit off Bond Street, and there isn't that much of a logo or signage. You really have to know where you're going to find the store. The doors are not open, you have to ring, and security have to decide if they let you in. Some people have not been let in, and if you are one of the lucky ones, you will get to see James Turrell installation at the very entrance, and you still can see it up to today. They will continue their global expansion, and in 2024 they will open their Paris store. And we absolutely have to talk about the interior design of the Row stores. They are very, very different from traditional retail experiences. If we have to compare, the Row stores look something akin to art collector's house, art gallery, or architectural installations. The color palettes are very neutral, and the design, even though it's very similar, it's still a little bit different. They collaborated with Jacques Grange. He's a very famous interior designer who creates unique store spaces. For example, he created retail space for Saint Laurent stores. And they traveled to antique markets, they bought specific artworks individually for each store. So unlike many other luxury brands who have more or less the same retail space design globally, Zero created unique spaces for each of their stores. And within the store, when you enter, you can find unique objects. For example, you can find a table by Charlotte Perriand, installation by Gio Ponti, or a light by Osamu Noguchi. And the clothing is generously spaced apart, just like artworks in an art gallery. So there's a very, very smart strategy. The way Row products are displayed in store, it looks like they are art pieces. So hence they are very exclusive. And you can have designer table on which you can have a pair of sandals or a handbag. And this way, this is a very strategic trick fashion industry often uses to elevate an object of fashion. You have to place it next to an artwork. This is also the reason why many fashion brands collaborate with artists to elevate the status. Because if you think about fashion, art is a much more supreme and intelligent and aspirational industry rather than fashion. Designers themselves will say, it was very important for us that when you walk into the store, it wasn't about clothes being showed in your face. It was about the experience of walking in, taking in a space, being able to slowly introduce yourself to sweaters and slippers, and maybe a handbag. Have an open area for shoes so you can relax, come upstairs, walk through the collections in a space that's calm. Less is more. This is a very important message. For them, luxury is not about abundance. Luxury is about time, space, and silence. The brand is also criticized for very high prices. Their cotton shirts start from £1,000. Rubber flip-flops have been criticized excessively online for being priced around $650, and their Margot bags, they sell for over £4,000 with some limited edition versions going up to $50,000. Many media sources and magazines describe Margot bag as next Birkin, and it's actually very different to find it to be available in store. You are more likely to find the bag being sold out. The bag became a celebrity status symbol. You can see celebrities like Zoe Kravitz, Kylie Jenner being photographed wearing it online, and the bag became a huge success online and gained more than 2 million views on TikTok for hashtag Margot bag. Today, Zero operates 6 stores in total, 4 in America, 1 in London and 1 in Paris, but they sell worldwide across many multi-brand retailers. The justification for high prices can be explained by quality and unique craftsmanship. However, we live in times of social, political, and economic uncertainty, and in these times, symbolic purchases and symbolic values become more important. And Zero sells recognition without explanation because it doesn't have any logos or any branding. You can only recognize it if you know. And this sounds very elite and expensive. This is exactly what attracts customers. It's a form of cultural capital which you can wear on your shoulders, but is a very attractive concept to sell. Zero is often described as a minimalist brand, but it's not minimalism for everyone. it's a truly elite minimalism. It's a type of clothing that works only if you already have money, social status, and cultural capital. Silhouettes are loose but exact. The colors are muted but very substantial and costly. Most of brand designs are inspired by mid-century modernism, arts and crafts, Art Deco, and Art Nouveau movements to signify sophistication and taste. Nothing asks for attention because really the brand and this type of luxury and taste, they don't need it. And this way, the raw silence, it's strategic. In the economy of noise, of social media, brands chasing popularity, seeking collaborations, the rose silence become dominant and it becomes strategic. It's an anti-spectacle luxury. And brand is very careful with how they present themselves. They rarely give any interviews. It's very difficult to find information about them. But when there is a feature, usually magazines curate a very specific type of people who comment or review brand: art curators, gallery directors, artists, models, actresses. In one of the articles, Aita Minaga, Japanese fashion model and actress, said, "Zero gives you a glimpse of a designer's way of thinking, lifestyle, and a sense of life." I think it's a very fitting way to describe it, right? They only give you a glimpse, they never give you the full picture, and this makes brand even more attractive. When the brand was opening its first store in London, they did a rare interview and feature with British Vogue. And British Vogue very fittingly noted that the sisters inhabit the world they design for, self-made millionaires with proximity to their clients. Mary-Kate will say, "When we design, we are designing for specific clients. We understand what their day looks like, how and when they travel." And Ashley will add, "What they are looking for at a specific time of a year, what events come up, their families." This demonstrates that the Row targets a very specific type of customers who are just like Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen. They are sophisticated, elegant, and they dress just like them. However, this very controlled public image of the brand fractured in 2023. At this point, obviously, social media became huge and the phenomenon of influencers was very widespread, and the brand became very, very popular online. Writing fashion reviewer Nila Mahuja, she is one, or was, better to say, was one of the most devoted fans of the brand. She often posted content about them, and it was very, very niche content. For example, some of her posts, she specifically reviewed what type of handles the Row bags have. And she proclaimed herself some sort of an unofficial brand ambassador. And she's been in their inner circle for a while, at least their consumer inner circle. She was invited to their fashion shows, private presentations. And when she will write a Substack post titled "Open Letter to the Row, We Need to Break Up." Somehow that post read like a confession of someone who exited a very toxic relationship. She said that the brand was very selective with their relationship and how much they wanted her involved in the brand. Apparently, they shut down her Wall Street feature article where she would describe how much she likes the brand. She also said that they scolded her for using affiliate links to authorized resellers rather than links for brand directly. And also they criticized her posts about how disorganized the brand sample sales were. Her main idea was the brand doesn't reject noise, but they want noise to come from very specific and selected people. And she said we don't want mass recognition, we want specific recognition, which I think reflecting on the whole history of the brand and the curated identity we've been creating for a long time, it's quite surprising, but it contradicts the world of social media where a lot of consumers exist today. In the Financial Times feature in the same year, Financial Times will be discussing what is luxury, what is this wealth which is often associated with the brand. And Ashley will say it's like a quiet luxury. 2024 will become the year of quiet luxury. Think about Gwyneth Paltrow wearing cashmere and tailored suits to court appearances, or how HBO Succession TV series supported public's obsession with understated wealth. According to the list, searches for the Row increased by 93% at the beginning of 2024, and Margot back searches increased by nearly 200%. This obsession with the brand will culminate in 2024 sample sale in New York, where people will queue for 7 to 10 hours. They will hire other people to wait in a queue for them. They will sleep in a tent. And they will spend thousands of dollars despite 70% sale. And TikTok will explode with haul videos, unboxing, girl math video, a TikTok phenomenon where women explain expensive purchases are not that expensive. For example, if you make a 400 purchase and you split it by 365 days, it's actually not that expensive. This is a very fascinating situation. A brand that bans phones during its shows became the main character on TikTok. Very quiet luxury, very loudly consumed. At the same time, Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen, they don't have Instagram. They are very private people. You can't really find much about them online. In their interview to Financial Times, they will say they are just private people. We've done interviews our whole life. So after years of that, you just choose to stop talking to people if it's not going to translate. While the brand's own Instagram looks like a mood board with curated selection of art and interior design, it's very beautiful, but it doesn't really give us anything about the brand. The Financial Times will estimate that before the pandemic, brand's revenue were between $100 and $200 million, and the brand was hit quite badly by the pandemic, well, just like the most of fashion industry. Interestingly, at that time, the brand will accelerate its relationships, which are unofficial, with brand celebrities like Gigi Hadid, Kendall Jenner, and if you scroll through their social media, you will notice that they will start to actively post themselves dressed in a brand, or paparazzi will start taking more pictures of them wearing the brand. And Financial Times last estimate was that the brand generates between $250 to $300 million. Recently, the brand experienced $1 billion investment from a very old money world. Chanel, L'Oreal families, Natalie Massenet from Net-a-Porter, and Lauren Santo Domingo. This investment is supported by old money luxury logic, high margins, scarcity, exclusivity, and control over brand image and retail channels. Stylist Alistair McKim once said, "The Row's garments do not need a label of a cut, the drape, the tones, the proportions, even the weight of a fabric are enough. This is luxury designed to be recognized only by those trained to see it." But people see that the brand will become popular, or we've already seen that the brand has become popular on social media by all type of not only old money crowd, but new money crowd as well. The Row is unarguably beautifully made. It's culturally sophisticated. It resembles a very elegant and tasteful aesthetic. But its silence is strategic, and its scarcity is selective. And this highlights to us what the Row doesn't sell clothing. It sells aesthetic of old money disguised by minimalism. This dynamic can be understood through Forstein-Veblen theory of conspicuous consumption that explains that consumers often buy expensive luxury products which have no practical value to them, but people buy them because they want to elevate their status. They want to show that they have status, wealth, and resources to buy luxury products for others to see. So it's a little bit of a Vanity Fair in a way. And Row created a very specific Vanity Fair. It's a Vanity Fair of not excess, but of restraint, with sort of this aesthetic, minimalist, sophisticated consumerism. Mary-Kate once said, "We'll always evolve with our clients and with the brand, because we are constantly learning and the whole world constantly changing. We are not chasing anything, we are just being honest about who we are." Yet the reality is more complex. Many consumers choose to buy the Row, not because of quality, not because the brand is made in Italy. They buy it because we want to highlight what they acknowledge the brand as an arbiter of taste, as an institution that signalizes sophistication and recognition in fashion industry. And by purchasing the Row, by reviewing it online, by posting it on social media, consumers feel like they elevate their own status. So if you have the Row, you can achieve the status you're looking to have. You can enter, you can touch the world of old money. At least this is the promise. And this way, the brand's products, they become badge of belonging. However, while the Row admits that they target a very specific type of customer and the whole brand image is very controlled and curated, it is popular among the new money crowd, the vibrant, dynamic, social media savvy consumers who are looking for recognition, who are looking to create status, and who really want to chase trends. And the problem is that this is the type of consumers the Row is desperately trying to distance themselves from. They welcome their money, but not their presence. And it's not surprising, because the Row never targeted mass consumer. They never chased this virality, but somehow this virality found them. The Row positions itself as an exception, the brand which is above fashion trends, social media, mass culture. We're not looking for popularity. But the question that emerges, is the Row such an exception, or is the Row a very dynamic portrait of the contemporary fashion industry? An industry which positions itself as exclusive and democratic, available to anyone who can afford it. But in reality, it's an industry which is silently supporting voice and power of those who already possess them. And in this context, the sample sale of the brand doesn't look like an act of generosity. It looks like the brand trying to get rid of products which their main customers no longer want and still stay profitable. Buying the Row offers us an entry to the world of old money, characterized by restraint, education, sophistication, and exceptional taste. But the door to this world, as always, remains guarded.